What's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to see you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. So on this video, there will be no drama, not too much saying. I'm going to go straight to the point. So you want to know how this girl right here made a distinction? Okay, you know what? Chill. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to spill the tea, okay? But first thing I have to say is, number one, I did not do TDB. TDB is till daybreak. It's the type of reading style that is popular in Nigeria where students study the whole night, maybe for an exam or an assessment. I never did TDB, okay? The second thing is I never did La Crème de la Peau. If you're in Nigeria, you understand what I mean? I never did La Crème de la Peau, pardon my French, okay? What it means is I did not cram and I did not pour out. You know, in Nigeria, another thing we say is garbage in, garbage out. Like literally what your lecturer tells you is what you tell them back. I did not do that. I did not do any cramming. I had to do a lot of thinking, okay? So, yeah. I'm going to be sharing with you how I got a distinction as an international student doing my master's in the UK. Hopefully, the points I share will be useful to you and you'll be able to pick out one or two things that you can apply to your academic life. Because let me tell you, I believe that if I can get a distinction in the UK, so can you. It's not rocket science. You can do it, okay? Without further hesitation, let's get started. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, I'm Chidera. I recently completed my master's degree in crisis and disaster management here in the UK. In my last video, I shared my results with you guys. So if you've not seen the video, I'll link it up here. Check it out because I share a lot of details about it. So the very first thing I did is I set the goal for myself. I'm like, you know what? I'm coming here to do my master's and my goal is to get a distinction. I'm very big on goal setting. If you've watched my previous video, I'm sure you already know this. I set the goal and I'm like, it has to be a distinction. So in order to get a distinction, I had to break it down, okay? Because for me, it's not just enough to write a goal. So I told myself that I had 5 courses. I have to get an A in every single course. And if I can't get an A in every single course, I should get at least 1 B. Because that is what will make me get a distinction. If I get anything less than that, like if I get 4 A's and 1 C, I'm not sure I'll be able to hit a distinction. So that was the goal. And then I also had to do the research and I realized on my course, a 70 was an A. Okay, I was like, Chidera, great. Whatever you're doing, you're going to try and aim for above 70. So that was my goal, going into the academic year. I can't overemphasize how important it is for you to have the end in mind from the beginning. So when you're just starting your course, already think about it. What would you like to graduate with? And in all honesty, this is not aspire to perspire talk, okay? So you need to be honest with yourself, looking at your strengths and everything. What is a realistic goal for you? Looking at how long you've been out of university, what is a realistic goal for you? Looking at the course, is it something you're interested in? How realistic is the goal for you, okay? Another thing is, it's very important that you're doing a course that you're interested in. Unlike your undergrad, where all of us jam us, we study anything that uni gave us. But then with your masters, you have to be very intentional that the course you're going for is what you're interested in. The second thing that enabled me get a distinction is that I leveraged university resources. Let me tell you what I mean. When I started my course, I came across this flyer in school that they said they were doing free Microsoft Word training and free Microsoft Excel training, like how to use Microsoft Word for long documents and how to use Excel spreadsheets properly. It was a free training by my university for students. So all I did was just sign up and show up. So I went to the class 3 times, 3 classes, how to use it to do referencing, how to adjust your margins, a lot of things I did not know about Microsoft Word. I was able to learn it before my course entered full mode. Do you understand? So I advise that if you have any resources in your uni that would help you either become a better writer, cite properly, avoid plagiarism, go for it. And most times these things are free. Another thing that helped me, university resource, like I said, is we had a training by the university library on citation and referencing, and I took my time to understand and to focus. I knew I needed to get the basics right in order for me to be able to go further. All right. The third thing I did that was able to help me achieve distinction is that I humbled myself. If you've not seen the last video where I shared my university results with you guys and I shared about my academic struggle, go check that video out. So basically, I humbled myself in the sense that I asked a lot of questions. Before coming to the UK, I had always been in the situation where I am the one my classmates always ask questions. It was me that was always the reference point. Did you get my point? But then coming to the UK and then being on a course where I did not have prior knowledge, I realized that I am not the reference point. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing, nada, nothing, glitch, zero. And I would have decided to be like, oh, you know, I don't want to ask questions, so it doesn't be like I don't know. I would have let my pride get the most of me. But I told myself, Chideramba, you're gonna ask questions because you have paid school fees, you have paid millions of naira to be here. If you like within, you know. My girls will confess to this. I'm always like, yo, Yolanda, what does lecturer mean by this? I don't get it. I'm always like, does anybody understand what is going on in class? Like, I'm always asking questions when I don't understand. And I was lucky enough to have the most helpful classmates that were always willing to explain things to me. You might want to humble yourself, acknowledge that you don't know, and seek help where necessary, okay? Another thing I did that helped me achieve distinction is always getting like clarification from my lecturers. A lot of times, even after I have asked my course mates questions, sometimes they don't explain it to the nitty-gritty of it. Like, I'm still not clarified with the explanation. So one thing I did is I spoke to my lecturers a lot, but not like to the point where it's disturbing. But I spoke to them, like, even after lectures, I'll go and meet them. I'll be like, excuse me, what you said here and here, I didn't quite get it. Can you shed more light on it? And then they take their time, they explain to me. Another thing I did was to send emails. So I'm like, okay, this assignment, you said we should do this. I'm not quite clear on this. Can you clarify for me? And then they were kind enough to respond in their emails. So my point is, I leveraged all opportunities I had to ask questions and get clarification. I know no be say I know no. I'm not going to come here and start claiming James Bond. I don't know. Okay. Another thing that helped me achieve distinction is learning to think analytically. I don't know how to explain this thing in English. The UK educational system for masters is big on essay writing, so you're going to do a lot of writing. So I had to learn analytical thinking. See what I mean? Before I write my essays, what I do is when I'm reading up material, background material, I read this, I read that, and I ask myself, so what do I understand by what I've read? It's not like I'll be talking to myself like a mad person. I mean, in my head, I'll be like, so what do I understand from this? I do a lot of notes taking. I'm big on notes taking, and I really advise you take notes with your hand. I know we all like to be digital, especially you young children that are in the digital age. Me, I'm very old school. One thing I know is writing makes it sticks in your head better than typing. I don't know the science behind this, but if you know, please put it down. But I feel like when you write things with your hand, it stays in your memory longer than typing it. I don't know, you might argue with me, but this is what this is what works for me. Let me put it that way. So I do analytical thinking. I'm like, okay, I've read this. What do I understand? What is this person saying with this paragraph? How does it contradict with this, or how does it merge with this? I make my notes. When this one says something that corresponds here, I highlight the two together, and you know, it just makes sense. I'm doing a lot of analytical thinking. I'm critically looking at things. By the way, if you would like me to do a video on essay writing, like how to reconstruct sentences, how to analyze critically, let me know. Drop a comment down below, okay? Let me know if you want me to do that video, because that would be a very technical video. The next thing I did that helped me achieve distinction is having a workflow, what I call mind mapping. So whenever I have an assignment, I always think about how I'm going to do this assignment, okay? I create a workflow in my mind, and this is the workflow I use all the time. First thing I do is I tell myself, okay, let's start this week. And I'm like, on Monday, I'm going to read 2 articles, and then I read it, and then I highlight everything I want to highlight. I make my notes, I scribble down things. I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, on Tuesday, I'm going to write my introduction, and the introduction I'm writing is based off what I have read the previous day, okay? So I create that workflow. After I write my introduction, I tell myself on Wednesday, we're going to read some more. I read some more, and then I'm like, okay, Thursday we're going to work on literature review. I take my time that whole day. That's the only thing I do. I work on my literature review. That's it. So I created that workflow that I give myself time to read, and then I write. I read, I write. That was my workflow. So you have to create your own workflow or a system that works for you. Another important thing that is vital to mention here is that I got to understand how I study and what works best for me. So the thing is, before coming to the UK, I am a night reader. My peak time is 12 midnight to 2 a.m. I don't joke with this time, like during academics, like during my undergrad. This time I'm always awake, because for me, whatever I read between 12 to 2 stays in my head. That's in the middle of the night when it's quiet and it is pitch dark. It worked. But when I came to the UK, I realized that time, I cannot wake up in the middle of the night, especially in winter when I just started studying. I was like, in winter, I'll come waking in the night. It wasn't working. So I realized I needed to find a new system that worked. And I tried the library, and I realized I was able to read in the library, which is very different from my undergrad. Because in undergrad, I did not used to read in the library. You will see me in the library, but whatever I'm doing here is revision. I'm not doing my initial reading there. Okay, so here in the UK, I realized going to the library worked. It made me feel like, oh yeah, this is serious business. I'm out of my house. I can't be trying to look for comfort or look for blankets or something. Also, I understood that I like to study alone. I don't like studying with people. I love people, obviously, you know that, but I like to be in my space when I'm studying. It helps my mind, because my mind, Jesus Christ, it can process 100 things at the same time. And when people are not around me, my mind will not be able to settle. So a lot of times my girlfriends, my friends will be like, oh, I'm going to the library today. Who wants to tag along to study? You know, I never took up any of those offers, because I know that if I go to the library with them, I am not going to study. See, even if they don't disturb me and they are studying, that is Chidera, I know that I will not achieve anything meaningful. That is me. Okay, so I never studied with people. I don't do study groups. That is me, because it did not is to work. I am wasting my time. If I'm doing study groups, it's to teach somebody, not for me to go and learn. Like, I know what I'm talking about, basically. Usually, I even like to sit where I'm facing outside or I'm facing the wall, like in the library. So I'm not seeing anybody or seeing anything. I am focused. I am in my space, all right? Another thing that I think helped me is the fact that I dedicated a lot of hours to my academics. Obviously, that's what brought me to the UK. I don't know what brought you to the UK, but for me, it was academics. And trust me, I did not do till daybreak, okay? But I spent a lot of hours, okay, during daytime. So usually when I create that workflow for my essays, I go to the library as early as 8 or 9, and then I sit down there. I don't leave the library, sometimes till 9 p.m. in the night, sometimes till 8, sometimes till 6. It varies. Once I feel I have hit the target I want for that day, I step out. But also, it's vital to mention that there were days when I was unable to hit my targets, and I just went to the library and I'm like, you know what, it's not working today. And I pack my bags and I leave. That is me. So my point is, you really need to understand what works for you and how your system approaches study. Do you get me? Another important thing that is vital to mention, obviously I have to mention it, is the fact that I never missed class. All of you people that like to jump class, especially now that, studying is online, it's very easy for you to feel like, what the hell, you can miss the class. No, what the hell, don't miss it. Don't miss the class, please. I never missed classes, and that's because I know that this course is something that I don't have background knowledge on, and I don't want to miss any class. Rather, I'll be there in the front, or I sit in the front because I want to hear everything. And then I took notes, and then sometimes I recorded my lecturers, especially the ones I felt were talking really, really, really fast. Because sometimes they'll tell me, like it's so fast, I can't make sense of what you're saying. I recorded it, then I could always replay it and try to follow what they were saying. Another important thing that is vital to mention, which obviously contributed to me getting the distinction in my master's, is the fact that I cried. And I did a whole lot of it, okay? I'm going to acknowledge my tears. They brought me this far. There were lots of days that I cried. So some of you already know these things. Can't be like, say I don't repeat myself. But there were lots of days that I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. But those tears were necessary. Because if I did not cry, I wouldn't have made it to the end. Do you understand? So it helped me relieve myself of stress. So there were times when my academics were not going as I wanted. There were times when I would read and it's not making sense, and I would sit down and I would cry. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I did a lot of crying, and that helped me because I had a way of venting out my stress. So my point is, you might also want to find a way to ease off your stress, especially when academics become like this. It gets to the point when it's like this, when it's just like, it's So yeah, you need to find a way to ease off that stress. Okay. I have come to the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know. You can drop a comment down below of one thing you picked from this that you might try or you might want to try. What am I saying? You might try, you might want to try. It's the same English. Anyway, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share this video with other people, and till next time, guys.